Welcome to the Glenn Beck program. I'm so excited somebody likes me. I mean, they really like me. Who was it? Find out next. Come on. Our operator is still standing by. You know how much money we've spent on this operator and no phone call from the White House, but they still have the number, and if we get anything wrong, they can call us. Hello, America. I told you last week that Van Jones was out and about. This time he was getting the NAACP Image Award, and here is how he closed his speech.
To my fellow countrymen, Mr. Glenn Beck, I see you and I love you, brother. I love you and you cannot do anything about it. I love you and you cannot do anything about it. Let's be one country. Let's be one country. Let's get the job done.
That is fantastic. The implication here is that I don't love him. I mean, sorry you misunderstood, Van. I'm a gospel-believing guy. You are my brother, and I love you. I may disagree with you. I may not like what you do, but I love you. That's just the way it is. Now, so we don't sound like an episode of Barney and Friends. You love me, I love you, but let's end it there. This isn't personal. It never has been. But, I mean, if you want, call me. Never been personal. I never called for your resignation, no matter what the press prints. I didn't even want you to quit. I wanted you to continue to talk. I'm actually glad that you're out there again. You see, I'm one of these old school people who think that the First Amendment applies to everyone, even 9/11 truthers and communists. When I disagree with somebody, I don't try to have them silenced. That's what they do in communist countries. In fact, when everyone was expecting me to gloat over the resignation of Van Jones or celebrate, which, by the way, he resigned at midnight over Labor Day weekend on, I believe, the Saturday, Sunday morning, my first day back from that long holiday, this is what I said on the air. I didn't ask for Van Jones to resign. If Americans want the version of America that Van Jones sees, well, that's fine, but we need to have a discussion. It can't be done under the cover of darkness. There needs to be questions and answers. You see, we've never had that, even to this day. His resignation did exactly what I said it would do. It would push it back into darkness. There would be no further dialogue. No one answered any of the real questions. And America needs answers. I think we're running out of time, especially when there are those in the highest offices in the land who are trying to fundamentally transform this country. And Van Jones has a very different idea of what America should be. When he says one country, I'd like to be one country, but which one is it? A republic or something else? You see, he's a self-avowed communist. He was a member of a radical group called Storm. This is a group that wanted to overthrow the government, was sad when the Soviet Union collapsed. He was trying to transform America under the guise of green jobs to transform America green to red, move away from capitalism. We can talk all day, all day long about how much we love each other, but his agenda was in the cover of darkness until we shed light on it on this program. But the question really was never about his agenda. It was only leading us down the hallway to the president's agenda. You see, if you watch this program, I hope by now you know what my agenda is. I'm wide open. I'm for the truth. I believe in smaller government, lower taxes. You bet I'm a capitalist. I don't mind getting a paycheck. When you're out in the open, you have the courage of your convictions. At least I try to every night. But it seems this administration has used people like Van Jones to cloak their convictions in green. So let's talk about that one country Mr. Jones mentioned. I'm all for one country, but it can only be one, not two. And there is a battle right now going on over what this country should look like. I happen to think it's a republic. But progressives think it's something else. And unfortunately, they aren't presenting the true progressive agenda to the public because they know it's a losing battle. Here's what we know about Van Jones, because this is the one that's the most out there and in the open, and there's new news on this. First, he's a communist revolutionary. In 1994, Van Jones helped start a group called Storm, standing together to organize a revolutionary movement, Storm. The group held study groups on the theories of Marx and Lenin and had hopes of a socialist utopia Remember that, socialist utopia. He defended a cop killer, Mumia Abu-Jamal. Van Jones in 1999, then a San Francisco civil rights attorney, helped coordinate a protest march on behalf of death row inmate Mumia Abu-Jamal. He's been involved with that man, a man who shot Danny Faulkner in the head at point-blank range. Boom, a cop killer. He also believes that the free market is dead. He was a 9/11 truther. However, that's a little sketchy now. October 26, 2004, the 9/11 Truth Commission came out. Van Jones was listed as a signer of a petition that called for an inquiry into the evidence that government officials were involved in the 9/11 attacks. You want to ask questions? Ask questions. But it's my understanding also spoke at a rally for the 9/11 Truth movement. But this, quite honestly, was the least of the problems that I had with Van Jones. Because we had things like this. In January 2008, a long time ago, Van Jones said that white polluters were essentially steering poison into the people of color communities. Do you believe that? He wants a green economy to replace the system of oppression and exploitation. That's what he thinks America's system is, exploitation and oppression. One thing that's not up here is if I love him or he loves me. But even these things are really not about him. They never have been. What I want to know is, does the president believe any of these things? That's what I said at the time. How did this man get into the Oval Office? How did this man get into the White House? How is he around the President of the United States? Did the Secret Service know? Is he okay with these things? Well, that question has just been answered. I had my suspicions that the president did know when his best friend growing up, Valerie Jarrett, said this. Watch.
Van Jones, we were so delighted to be able to recruit him into the White House. We've been watching him really he's not that old, for as long as he's been active out in Oakland and all of the ways that he has, the creative ideas that he has. And so now we have captured that, and we have all of that energy and enthusiasm in the White House.
You got that? That was my suspicion. She's been watching him for as long as he's been out being an active participant in Oakland. Storm was in Oakland. The cop killer support was when he was in Oakland. The free market system is dead. The poisoning, all of that stuff. Well, now, we go to the NAACP award. Afterwards, he's being interviewed on a network other than this one. Here's what Van Jones said while out on his rehab tour. During an interview, when asked, did the president or the White House know your past? Here's what he said to Suzanne Malveaux.
I was fully candid, about my past, about the ideas that I have explored. I was a mid-level White House staffer.
All right. So they knew exactly who he was. And I don't care if he was a mid-level staffer or not. If the vetting process turned up a candidate who thought a convicted cop killer was worthy of excusing and extolling and painting into a hero, I don't want that person taking out the garbage, let alone being mid-level at the White House. But now it's clear. Yes, the White House knew Jones was a communist. He said it was a rigorous process. He didn't leave anything out. He wasn't lying. So we don't need to know anything about Van Jones. Case closed. We know. We got it. He's a radical who latched himself onto the green movement, and the White House is using him. And I hope he has a great green life, creating lots of pretend jobs and building solar panels and wind turbines. God bless him on his quest to get everyone to fill their car tires to the proper air pressure. But this is not the problem, nor has it ever been the problem. Have you noticed, while on this rehab tour speaking to high schools and colleges and television reporters, no one is asking Van Jones if he's still a communist. No one will ask him if he rejected communism and rejected Marxism, if he now believes in the free market system. He has said in the past that the free market system doesn't work. In fact, don't let me say it. I'm going to have him give it to you in his own words. Listen carefully.